Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. This is Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. Tonight, the broom is not just sweeping, it's storming through the coal city, Enugu State. Yes, you heard right. In a move shaking the very foundation of Southeast politics, Governor Peter Mbah has traded the umbrella for the broom from PDP to APC, from loyalty to liberation. Mbah says this isn't about ambition, it's about progress. He's now officially holding the APC membership card, declaring that our voices will now be heard in Abuja. A powerful message from a region that for decades has felt disregarded despite unwavering support for the PDP. And as Mbah joins the APC fold, the numbers tell their own story. The Southeast political equation is being rewritten line by line, defection by defection. Now, from shared vision with Tinubu to regional realignment, the broom symbolism is no longer just a party emblem. It's becoming a political statement of intent. So what does this mean for 2027? Is Enugu State merely following the national tide or leading a new southern political awakening? And how will it shift, or this shift, affect the Southeast power calculus in Abuja? On Viewpoint, we unpack the drama, decode the numbers, dictating the destiny of Enugu's new political direction. I'm Odiawa AI. Join us shortly. You're welcome back. Tonight, the political compass in the Southeast has actually tilted. Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State, a man who rode into power on the platform of the PDP, has defected to the APC, the same party that controls the center. Yes, the same PDP that midwifed his political rise, his campaigns, his victory speech, which currently now apparently is history. Governor Mbah says it's about service, it's about alignment with national vision, and about unlocking new opportunities for Enugu State. But we are actually asking, is this defection about service or for survival?
We are here very excited and very delighted to receive our dear brother, the governor of Enugu State, into our family and informed us of his decision to join the All Progressive Congress. We in this part of the world, the Southeast, we are very excited and very happy.
This is a journey that will bring more development. Your Excellency, I thank you for what I've seen. I am a man that believes in progress. The entire Nigerian Senate is here. The leader of the Senate, Opeyemi Bamidele, is with me. May I add, the reason why we are here with my brother, the Right Honorable Speaker, is because we are very happy.
And you're welcome in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Assuring Governor Mbah of equal treatment, the national chairman of APC then hands over the symbol of the party to the governor.
Today, we are coming together as the Southeast to put an end to fragmented politics, to forge a strong alliance. Today represents a move between Enugu and Abuja. It represents the Southeast aspiration, connecting to the opportunities at the national.
For the vice president who is representing President Bola Tinubu, the leadership of the party in the state going forward lies with the state's governor.
For Governor Peter Mbah, let me say this with warmth and humor, that you have always been one of us. You are a progressive, true and true. And I am convinced that you had a broom hidden in your umbrella all these years, waiting for the right moment to bring it out. I want to warmly welcome you to the APC. And as far as the APC convention and constitution, the governor is the leader of the party in the state.
Enugu State becomes the third APC state in the southeast. The people are hopeful that the connection to power at the center, which the governor cited as his reason for defection, will bring more dividends of democracy to the state.
Now let's start with the facts. On Tuesday, just yesterday in Enugu, Mbah announced with what many had whispered for weeks, his decision to join the ruling APC. He said, and I quote, "Leadership demands are difficult. Even in painful decisions, there comes a time when everyone must make a bold choice to determine their destiny." And in that same breath, he declared, "After long reflection, we have made a decision to join the APC, the All Progressives Congress." Moments later, the APC's National Working Committee handed him his membership card, sealing the deal, not with whispers, but in broad daylight. The APC celebrated it online and offline, calling it a new cause for Enugu, while Mbah describes it as a strategic decision to ensure the Southeast voice is heard at the national level. We look at it as political survival, as we call it that way. But pause for a minute. Does this not sound familiar? From Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State to Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, now we have Peter Mbah of Enugu State. The story seems to recycle or repeat itself. The strongmen of PDP crossing over to APC under the banner of development, alignment, and national inclusion. Frankly speaking, I see it as a strategic migration towards the center of power. In Nigeria, political survival is rarely about ideology, it's about access, influence, and security. The PDP may have birthed many of these strong leaders, but today, the ruling APC controls the levels of federal allocation, security collaboration, and political goodwill. And when the federal sun shines from Abuja, every governor wants their state to actually bask in the warmth of Abuja. So Mbah's defection is not isolated, it's symptomatic. It tells of a political culture where loyalty bends to power and conviction bows to calculation. Now, zeroing in further into the Southeast, for decades, the Southeastern part stood firmly with the PDP right from 1999 up until now. That loyalty was almost cultural. The region believed that the PDP understood its pain, its politics, and its aspiration. But loyalty without reward breeds resentment or contempt. And Mbah said it himself in his words, and I quote, "The Southeast had been loyal to the PDP for decades, but often disregarded when it mattered most." The statement wasn't just a justification, it was a political accusation. It's Mbah saying, "We give everything, yet we got little." Now, by joining the APC, Mbah is signaling a recalibration, aligning Enugu with the center, perhaps to attract federal attention, projects, or even protection ahead of 2027. But here's the irony of it all. In trying to ensure that Enugu's voice is heard, Mbah risks alienating the section of the Southeast electorate who see the APC as the architect of their political marginalization. So the question is, can he bring the people along, or will he stand alone in a room full of new friends who are still watching him with folded hands? The move is bold, all right, but no doubt. But it's a gamble. Why? Because defections can either elevate a leader to the national stage or bury their credibility at the home base. We could take a cue from Godwin Obaseki, who moved from APC to PDP. Survival move, yes, but it came with scars. And then there's Dave Umahi, now an APC minister, but still battling for political relevance in the Southeast. So what does Mbah stand to gain or lose? Looking at the gains, access to federal projects and appointments, direct line to Aso Rock in Abuja, a possible shield against political isolation. Now for the losses, trust of core PDP loyalists will be lost, credibility among voters who see this as an opportunism, the perception of also principle. Politics is perception and perception is power. So while Peter Mbah gains Abuja's handshake, that federal handshake, he risks losing Enugu's heart. So as Governor Peter Mbah begins his journey in the APC, the question continues to linger. Is this a defection for development or a realignment for relevance? Enugu's power chessboards just got shaken and the echoes are reaching all the way down to the FCT, Abuja. We go on a short break, and when we return, we dive straight into the heart of it all. Governor Peter Mbah breaking ranks, raising the flag of a new alliance. What does this mean for Enugu's long-standing political identity? Join us shortly. I'm Odiawa AI. You're welcome back. Now, in the theater of politics, timing is everything. And silence, they say, is the loudest sound before a storm. Now, for weeks, the rumor mills churned whispers in Enugu State, murmurs in Abuja. Would Peter Mbah defect? And now the curtain has actually fallen. The speculation is over. The Enugu State Governor, Peter Mbah, the last standing PDP governor in the Southeast, has finally moved camp to the APC. Let's unpack this. Peter Mbah didn't just announce a defection. He performed a political declaration which was televised, deliberated, and layered with meaning. He said, and I quote, "The voice of the Enugu people, and indeed that of the Southeast, will now be heard in Abuja." Now, that's not a statement, that's a political thesis, because behind these words lies years of Southeast frustration, Southeast exclusion, and Southeast political miscalculations. Let's roll back in history a bit. Since 1999, the Southeast has been one of the most loyal blocs to the PDP. Election after election, vote after vote, the Southeast region wore the PDP's colors like a badge of honor. Yet what did that loyalty yield? Federal neglect, federal marginalization, and the painful silence of being seen but not heard. And so when Peter Obi says, I beg your pardon, when Peter Mbah says, our voices will now be heard in Abuja, he's not merely speaking for himself. He's channeling decades of political frustration and turning it into strategy. But make no mistake, this move isn't without risk. For Mbah, the defection is both a bold gamble and a calculated alignment. He frames it as a partnership with purpose. He says, I have found President Tinubu not just as a leader, but as a partner in purpose. Now, that's not an ordinary praise. That's a direct alignment with the Tinubu doctrine of central control, reform-driven economics, and also federal reach. Let's pause on that for a moment, because politically, this is a shift in power dynamics. The Southeast, once a stronghold of the opposition politics, is now one defection at a time, spreading closer to the center. Mbah insists it's not about ambition. He says this is about progress, not ambition. It's about aligning Enugu with the nation's broader vision of economic stability and growth. But let's be honest, in politics, the line between ambition and progress is often blurry. His argument appears logical. You can't build federal highways or gas pipelines from a state budget. You can't industrialize a state without aligning with the center, Abuja. And yet, many are asking, is this alignment or capitulation? It's about progress, or is it about progress or survival before 2027? Because let's not forget, the mass defection from the PDP across the Southeast didn't happen in a vacuum. We have the likes of Senator Ojuzo Kalu also. Now, it's happening in a shadow of 2027, an election many see as already taking shape today. For years, the PDP reigned unchallenged in the Southeast. But as the center shifted under the Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the political winds began to swirl. And what Mbah has done, whether by conviction or calculation, is to forecast the political weather in the Southeast. Now, let's look at the policy reasoning. Behind this defection, Mbah points to Tinubu's economic reforms, subsidy removal, forex unification, fiscal tightening as tough but necessary choices. From rail to gas corridors, the federal capital's focus, Mbah wants Enugu to be on the map, not watching from the sidelines. He calls it alignment at scale. And that phrase is key. It tells you this is about federal access, not about party colors. But politically, the implications run deep. With Mbah's defection, the PDP has officially lost its last gubernatorial seat within the Southeast. From a region that once delivered overwhelming margins for PDP's presidential candidates to a region now largely wearing the APC colors. This is no small transition. This is a realignment of Southeast power at the national table. And if you listen closely, it echoes the sentiments that's been building up for years. That to be heard, you must be seen, or for you to be heard, you must be seen at the center. But here's the real question. Will the center truly hear the Southeast this particular time? Will Peter Mbah's defection translate into real words, real jobs, real investments, or will it be another political pilgrimage to Abuja that ends in federal handshakes, federal photographs, and unkept promises? Because the Southeast has been here before, making sacrifices for access, only to end up being sidelined in the corridors of power. Still, Mbah's move might be different. He's not defecting as a desperate man, he's defecting as a sitting governor with projects on ground, fiscal reforms in motion, and political capital intact. He's not begging for inclusion, he's bargaining for influence, and that changes the tone of the narrative. By joining the APC, he effectively is tying Enugu's economic aspirations to Tinubu's reform agenda. Now, decoding this, Mbah's defection achieves four things. Regional positioning, it secures Enugu a stronger federal handshake, access to Abuja, developmental programs. Secondly, strategic timing. It happens early enough to influence 2027's coalition politics. Number three, the narrative shifts, framing the Southeast politics from perpetual opposition to constructive engagement. And lastly, personal leverage. It cements Mbah's influence as a possible regional bridge between Tinubu's center and the Igbo interests. But it also comes at a risk. The PDP loyalists see betrayal, the APC grassroots see opportunism, and the Southeast electorate, they may see it as a test of sincerity. So tonight, Enugu stands at a crossroad. Is Peter Mbah the architect of a new Southeast awakening or the symbol of political surrender to the center? And so the political pendulum swings once again in Enugu State. Governor Peter Mbah, once a proud pillar of the PDP, now stands under the banner of the ruling APC. With his APC membership card in hand, he sees it not as ambition, but about progress, not betrayal, but alignment. The show has been Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. I've been your host, Odiawa AI.